Greetings, greetings, greetings and salutations one and all. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I hope you're thankful. I want to say big ups and greetings to each and everyone locked in right now on the night shift with DJ Kevin Steele. Big ups to the massive that's locked in on TuneIn Radio. Locked in on the night shift with DJ Kevin Steele. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Much love to those who are locked in from across the pond. One Harmony Radio, top of the morning to you guys over there in the UK. King Genius, much love, bro. I want to say big ups to those who are locked in out of New Jersey. I'm on locked in on NIE Radio, hanging out with New Jersey's finest, the motivator. Blessings to those out of New York. Hanging out to the island worldwide, exhibiting the power of music. Chilling with Chen and Nicole, Gary, and the Jump Out production crew. Much love to you. Blessings to those out of Long Island. Hanging out to the Reggae Pulse Radio. DJ Atomic Force and the Massive. Big ups, big ups, big ups. I want to say big ups to those who are locked in out of Texas. Texas large, you know. So the three platforms out of Texas, All Up Radio, Music Media Group, WGLRO, the People Station, home of the Donnie Walker Morning Show, taking from the sheets to the streets. Not from the streets to the streets. From the sheets to the streets. So the Donnie Walker Morning Show, much love to you guys over there. Donnie, much love, much respect, bro. Big ups to those who are locked in here out of South Florida on the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com. Big ups Mr. Twinkle Toes himself, Clinton Lindsay, the veteran. Big ups to those who are locked in on PMGTV.com. Thank you, Paul C Media, for the love. Those on Zeno FM, bubbling in the stew pot. Yeah man, we're thankful for each one of you know. Yeah man, we're thankful for everybody. Big ups to those on Clubhouse, those on Facebook Live. Hey Steady, how you doing? Hey there, jump into the sky, waving hallelujah. The zone of all our tuned kicking off things tonight. The track is called Thankful. I want to say thank you because I'm thankful, you know. Thank you to my segment sponsors. Paul C Media, when being in the moment is priceless. Connect with Paul C Media Group. They do everything you see here on kevinsteele.com and more. Yeah, they host my website and they provide me with streaming services. So you have a wedding, a church service, a funeral, a party, a graduation, anything that you want to stream live on a secure platform, whether yours or theirs, they got the hookup for you. Give them a call, 754-999-1140. That's 754-999-1140. Thank you, Paul C Media Group. I want to say thank you to Althea and her Healing Heavenly Hands. Althea S. is a licensed massage therapist operating out of Broad County, North Miami-Dade, and South Palm Beach counties. She comes to you, bringing her table, her oils, and over 20 years massage therapy experience. Give her a call today, 954-655-9000. That's 954-655-9000. She only has one request, outside of paying her, that is. It is to get off her table and go sleep somewhere else when she's done. It's called the Kevin Stew clause. That's because I'm always falling asleep on her table. I want to say thank you to Reggae Global Entertainment. Reggae Global acts as your booking agents, handle your tour management, take care of your business registration, legal service referrals, music production, marketing and promotion, and much, much more. Go ahead and give them a call, 954-804-8199. That's 954-804-8199. Or check them out at reggaeglobal.com. Thank you, Reggae Global Entertainment. And thank you to McNeil Trucking. I know some people really grateful to McNeil Trucking today. McNeil Trucking is a licensed and insured mover out of Florida. Want to move from point A to point B? From Key West to Jacksonville. Put some things in storage. You don't have the manpower, don't have the equipment and transportation. No worries, you have the name, you have the number. McNeil Trucking. 954-406-9740. That's 954-406-9740. They're veteran owned. And I'm grateful to them too. It's Community and Finance Night. Inviting you to call a friend, tell a friend, friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies too. Because there's something here for everybody. You might not like them, but it's not about them. It's about the information that they're getting. So go ahead. Don't be stingy. Those that are locked in on Facebook Live, those that are locked in on Clubhouse, remember it's only a segment broadcast. So come on over to kevinstew.com. Much love to the massive locked in on YouTube Live. Olatunji says he's thankful, and so am I. But you know who else are thankful? There are a bunch of Americans right now that are so thankful. And they're thankful because there's this whole student loan forgiveness thing going on. Now, according to the New York Times, millions took on debt for college. Well, we didn't need the New York Times to tell us this because we all know it, right? So, millions took on debt for college but left without graduating. Yeah, that part. And what that has done effectively was to make it that much harder to repay loans. So, here's a question that comes up with this whole student loan debt forgiveness thing. Will this relief plan get these people to try again? That's a thought. But we'll look at that thought a little bit later on. Right now, what we're going to do is look at how this, how it can benefit some people, right? And one of the ways that immediately should come to mind is this idea of your credit. Because if there's one thing that people start to think about when you talk about loans, it's your credit score. Once you're in the United States, the big thing is your credit score. So, is your credit affected at all by the student loan forgiveness thing? That's a thought. Student debt can make it harder for people to start a business or purchase a home. And one reason for that is the lenders take into account your existing financial obligations. Now, a lot of people go to college, they get a student loan to pay for their tuition, to pay for their books. You know, the, the whole, everything that college encompasses. Because, let's face it, the average person doesn't have that financial means. Now, you're living a little bit above average. You may have the means to do so. But the average person has to get a loan. And in the grand scheme of things, when you look at the American dream, you go to college, get your degree, and then get a job that pays well as a result of earning your degree. In theory, that's how it's supposed to go. In reality, there are a whole lot more people that are in debt after going to college because they can't get that job that would pay enough for them to live and take care of their financial obligations, especially today. Now, can this loan forgiveness help any? Now that President Biden has announced that he plans to cancel up to $20,000 for millions of student loan borrowers, many people will find themselves with more favorable balance sheets and possibly a boosted credit score. Biden said in late August that most financial student loan borrowers will be eligible for some forgiveness, up to $10,000 if they didn't receive a Pell Grant, which is a type of aid available to low-income undergraduate students, and up to $20,000 if they did get a Pell Grant. Meanwhile, other recent changes for student loan borrowers, including a second chance for those who had defaulted on their loans, may leave them in an even better financial situation. Sounds promising? Sounds positive? Kinda does, doesn't it? So, what student loan... There are a few questions that would come up out of this. How much you make as it relates to the student loan forgiveness, what it means for your taxes, how do you go about getting it? All these little questions have been buzzing around since it was announced that, hey, here's this student loan forgiveness plan that is being promoted. So, student loan forgiveness will probably have a modest impact on your credit score. This says Ted Rossman, a senior industry analyst at creditcards.com. He says, I don't think it will be huge. Well, any little difference is a big difference, right? And that's because student loans are considered installment loans, meaning a loan you repay over a set period of time with regularly scheduled payments. Those are not weighted to heavily into your credit utilization rate, which is how much you're using of the credit available to you, right? Your utilization rate can account for up to 30% of your score. Still, any score boost may help you get more favorable terms with other lenders. So, yeah, it could provide you just a little bit more help. Now, owing less on your student loans will improve your debt to income ratio, which is the share of your monthly income used to pay your existing debts. Lenders look at this ratio when deciding how much to let you borrow. Some use something called the 28-36 rule, which specifies that no more than 28% of your monthly gross income go toward housing cost and no more than 36% go towards total debts. Now, a few mortgage lenders may have a little bit of a higher gap, but this is what a lot of lenders go off. Forgiveness that reduces or even eliminates your monthly student loan payments could lower that ratio, potentially helping you qualify for a larger mortgage or a car loan or even a credit card limit. Now, currently, the United States Department of Education is saying the application for loan cancellation will be available by early October, and that borrowers could see the relief within 6 weeks. Borrowers can then expect to see their lowered or erased debt on their credit reports within roughly 3 months. So it will be 2023 before you start seeing some things, right? Now, he recommends that you check your report regularly for free at at least there are a few places that you could actually check your report up to like 3 times for free for the year. But there's a recommendation that you go and check out your credit score. Yeah. And you want to make sure that your credit report is showing the correct balances. If there's any discrepancies, you might want to question those, challenge them, dispute them, as the case may be. Make sure you have a record of your reduced debt from your student loan servicer in case you need it as proof. So let them send you something to say, okay, this has been applied, just in case your credit report is saying something else. The Education Department has also recently announced that it will be helping some 7 million student loan borrowers out of their defaulted status. Once the so-called Fresh Start program launches, borrowers will start by choosing a repayment plan at myeddebt.ed.gov or by calling the Education Department's default resolution group. And the number for that is 800-621-3115. This information was put out by higher education expert Mark Kantrowitz. So if you want that number once again, it is 800-621-3115. I want to say big ups to those who are hanging out in the stew pot over there on Clubhouse. See you guys passing through. Much love to you. I should check the back office, the what's it called, the back channel, to see if you guys had left me any messages. All right, cool. No. So your loans should then be transferred from the servicer that handles defaulted federal student loans to a new servicer. Once you have a new servicer and are enrolled in a payment plan, the default should be automatically cleared from your record. Should be. This is the plan, yeah? The opportunity is temporary. Borrowers will have a 1-year window to switch into a new repayment plan, starting when the COVID-19 suspension of payments concludes. And that is said to happen December 31st, 2022. So, you have 1 year from December 31st to get your act in gear, yeah? Along with President Biden's announcement on student loan forgiveness, He said the education department was moving to offer borrowers with undergraduate loans a new income driven repayment plan that could slash their monthly bills in half. The plan could reduce the average annual student loan payment by more than $1,000, according to the White House. Now, Kantrowitz said this could have a big impact on mortgage underwriting, since the other monthly financial obligation that you have are high consideration for lenders. Now, the plan isn't available to borrowers just yet, but they should keep checking for updates. You can also take advantage of a lower or eliminated monthly student loan payment in advance, to advance on your other financial goals. Owing less will help you make more headway with paying down credit cards or boosting savings and investments. So that would probably lead to the question of what to do with that money that you have. So you are saving some money. You have $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in student loan debt written off. And okay, let's say you had 10,000 as a balance, 12,000, yeah, and all of it gets written off. What now can you do with the money that you're saving? Because you had to have been paying back something on this money. So if it was $12,000 and you had, I don't know how much longer left to pay for it, let's use even 12 months. There we go. So let's say you had $1,000 to pay back each month. Is that too much? Is that too little? I don't know. Okay, so it might be too much. Let's slash that in half. Let's say you're paying back $500 a month. So you had 24 months left to pay back. So that's, and interest at whatever. I don't even know what the percentage is for interest on student loans. But so you had that interest to calculate into that principal that you had left to pay down and re. Now that is wiped out. What do you do with the money that you would have been paying for your student loans? Is it time to go party? Is it time to plan a vacation? Is it time to buy a new car? Is it time to... What do you do? Let's look at some options when we come back from the break. Those of you that are locked in on Clubhouse, those that are on Facebook Live, this is where we're going to part company. Because, like I said, it's only a segment broadcast. Yeah? So, where do we go from here? kevinstew.com. That's where you get the remainder of the broadcast. If you're locked in on any of the affiliates, cool. You're already covered. You don't need to go anywhere. But, of course, you're invited to jump into the Stew Pot to participate. You can call, you can text. I didn't give out the phone number. 773-789-STEW. Those of you that are watching, you can see it right there at the bottom of your screen. Scrolling across the bottom of the screen right now. 773-789-STEW. That's 773-789-7839. You can call, text, WhatsApp, Telegram. They all work. Ring right here in the studio. 773-789-7839. And as we jump off on a break, I want to remind you, check out the Mary Kay store. Which Mary Kay store? Kevin Stew's Mary Kay store. It's marykay.com/Kevin Stew. And there's something for everybody with skin. Yes, and it includes men. Ta-da! Because we got skin too. So, you got beards. There's some beard care stuff there. But there's some face care stuff for men. Yeah, you ladies, you know you like your men having a soft, strong, but soft face. You know. And so there are products there for men. You know you like them smelling really nice. So get some fragrances for that man in your life. Your son, your brother, your uncle, your dad, your cousin, your neighbor, whomever, your teacher. go ahead and get something from the Mary Kay store. Just go on to marykay.com/KevinStew. Place your order now and get your products in just a few days, eh? And if you're into skin tone balancing, go ahead and check this out. It's called a CC cream. You know, we all had these little blemishes, and a little product could work to balance that out. And it works for men and women. There are some men in the movie business or on screen, like me. This can work. marykay.com/KevinStew. That's a place to go. Check it out.
Policy Media Group, innovative streaming and recording, has done it again. A new way to get your business in full view of your neighborhood consumer through AdShare TV. It's available in your neighborhood today. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. Become a host today and place a TV monitor in a strategic location so it's easy to see. Get a 1-minute video ad or longer that plays anywhere in our network. Can't be a host? No problem. For a few dollars, we'll run your 30-second video ad. A host can run announcement specials like buy one get one free or discount ads. Let's turn your flyers into a 30-second video with music or a voiceover, or let us create and run your video ad with a spokesperson. Take advantage of our early enrollment discount. Join us today. Your ad will be seen at least 30 times per day in your AdShare TV neighborhood. It's easy. Just call us 754-999-6020. AdShare TV, part of Pulse Media Group.
I learned a lot. In chemistry, I learned that no one likes me. In English, I learned that I'm disgusting. And in physics, I learned that I'm a loser.
Today in school,
In math,
I learned that I'm ugly
I
and
learned
useless.
that I'm trash.
And in gym,
In biology,
I learned that I'm
I
pathetic
learned that I'm fat
and a
and
joke.
stupid.
In history,
Today in
I learned that
school,
I'm trash.
Today in school, I learned that I have no friends. In English, I learned that I make people sick.
And in
And at lunch, I learned that I sit on my own because I smell.
and a joke.
In chemistry, I learned that no one
In
likes me.
biology, I learned that I'm fat and stupid.
In English,
And in
I
math,
learned that I make people
I
sick.
learned that I'm trash.
The only thing I didn't learn in school today
The only thing I didn't learn today
The only thing I didn't learn
is why no one ever helps.
Kids witness bullying every day. They want to help, but they don't know how. Teach them how to stop bullying and be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
Hey, I'm representing for DJ Kevin Stew, working on the night shift radio show. Won't go changing like the weather, just to please the devil never. Will DJ Kevin Stew sell his soul? That's a word and honor. It's Christine representing word and honor. Celestia DJ Kevin Stew.
Make me feel so good. Make me feel so
Tradition.
Busy bars are packed. I'm lost in the crowd. There you are, standing in the back. Can't hear what you're saying 'cause the music's so loud. Come take my hand, let's dance. Tonight's your chance. Make me feel so good.
tonight's your chance.
The sound of Rachel Davy Lee bringing us back from the break.
Your chance.
A track called Make Me Feel So Good.
Let's dance.
So, just before I jump off Facebook Live, a couple of comments here that I'd like to address. So, this one says, what would be a tremendous help to the country is either everyone's student loan debt be forgiven, they know everybody who's got one, or the government work out a plan with employers to deduct debt in a small and manageable way. I'm sure that would make a lot of people feel good. People can barely buy food and provide shelter to also be paying for what they're not benefiting from. Okay. So thank you for that, Tracy. Paying for what they're not benefiting from. That's the part that affects a lot of people. A lot of people are upset by it. Because here it is, you have spent your time, you have invested, because this is how it is actually laid out for us. We are always told that an education is an investment, right? Cool, because knowledge is power. Here's the thing. Knowledge applied is power. So if you don't have the opportunity to apply that knowledge that you have received, then how powerful are you? You just have it there. So it's dormant. You're not using it. What kind of power are you wielding at that point in time? So here it is. A lot of people have gone to college and they have accrued this debt. And they leave college and can't get a job. A lot of people, if you were to do a survey today, check and see how many people actually hold jobs using the degree that they attained. Not just to say that they have a degree and they're employed as a result of them having a degree, having gone through and done a 4-year college or tertiary education stint. Just the fact that is one thing that could possibly get you a job. The other thing is, are you using that degree that you earned in that job? Did you even want to get that degree, or is it something that you were forced into that? And that's a whole different kettle of fish right there. The other thing that I have always found interesting is that some of these places that people want to try to get into, the people that started these companies or who are running them, they don't have the degree that they're asking you to come and work for them and hold. So it's really an interesting dynamic. But that's not exactly what we're addressing tonight. Tonight we're looking at how student loan forgiveness, who it affects, how can it affect you, some of these little things you're looking at tonight. And again, we're famous for going off on tangents. So if they're related tangents, like getting a degree and not being able to use it, but working in an industry that doesn't pay, that's the other thing. And Tracy alluded to it. You got the degree, now you got a job. Not the job that you would get as a result of going to college to study this thing. So you went to be a software engineer or a graphic designer, and you earned your degree, and now you're working as an insurance agent. How that work? What does what you went and studied for 4 years out of college with what, 40, 60, 80, $120,000 in debt, and you're selling insurance, or you're working at a department store, or you're on the front line at a fast food chain. Because more often than not, we find this happening. President Joe Biden made a long-awaited announcement that individuals earning less than $125,000 a year would have $10,000 in federal student loan repayments forgiven. But that would raise to $20,000 if they received Pell Grants in college. What's more, he said people with undergraduate loans would also have a payment cap of 5% of their monthly income. All right, so this kind of addresses some of what Tracy was talking about. There's 5% of their monthly income. But here it is again. You go to college and you leave with $80,000 in debt. And you get a job that is paying you $60,000 a year. And you have now started a family. Not that you planned it, but it kind of happened. Yeah, that's another subject. Family planning is another subject. What? Hey. So it has happened. Now you have to take care of your family. You have to take care of yourself. You now have little ones to look about their education, their extracurricular activities, because they're little social beings too. You have to look about your housing. You have to look about food. You have to look about clothes. All out of this $60,000 a year, plus pay back your $80,000 in debt. But that is only one debt, because now you have a vehicle that you need to pay for. So now you have a car loan. So add that to your debts. And you want to stop paying rent and get yourself a little condo. Now you're talking about mortgage. And you're debating, boy, is it better that I pay rent and leave the mortgage thing until I finish paying off the student loan, and all this comes into play. So here it is. You're earning less than $125,000 a year. You have $10,000 in student loans. It could go up to, well, you get $10,000 in student loan forgiveness. It could go up to $20,000 if you have a Pell Grant. More than 45 million borrowers owe a cumulative student loan debt of $1.6 trillion. And this is what the White House said. It is a significant burden on America's middle class. Middle class borrowers struggle with high monthly payments and ballooning balances that make it harder for them to build wealth, like buying homes, putting away money for retirement, and starting small businesses. So we end up on this wheel, this hamster wheel, where you're working every day to try to clear your debt. And for some, it's approaching retirement that they finally get to clear this debt. So what quality of life do they get to live? Some borrowers have been setting aside money since the pandemic related student loan payment pause, because they expected to throw a lump sum of their loans once payments resumed. This says Grant Meyer, a certified financial planner and founder of GTS Financial in Bloomington, Minnesota. Strange things going on here with my internet. Okay, I don't know if you guys watching are seeing me glitch or anything like that. I just saw something strange with my information. Okay, so for those who qualify for the forgiveness, this is kind of a win-win situation. Now, Biden's announcement was far from a blanket cancellation. Quite far. roughly 20 million people, mostly lower income borrowers, will have their student debt eliminated as a result of the White House announcement on August 24. That should make a difference. The Federal Reserve says the average student loan debt per borrower is $39,351, while the median is about $19,280. Black and Hispanic borrowers are much more likely than white borrowers to be behind on their loans and are less likely to have completely repaid their loans. This is what the Fed said, according to adding the burden of unmanageable student loan debt may be of greater concern, on average, among individuals who are black or Hispanic, that is for white individuals. The lion's share of the federal student loan forgiveness will impact people making far less than $125,000, according to a recent study by the University of Pennsylvania. That study undercuts the argument that millions of wealthy graduates will benefit the most. In fact, Penn says 74% of forgiveness will affect households making less than $82,400 a year. So here's what the experts say you should do. First, invest. Those who qualify under Biden's federal student loan forgiveness plan can now use that money for other goals. Maya recommends investing, especially given the downward trajectory of the market over the last year. With the stock market beaten down so much this year, it's a great time to practice the age-old wisdom, buy low. Jackie Fontana, CFP and portfolio manager of FBB Capital Partners, suggests investing in U.S. Treasuries or a well-diversified equity ETF. If they are able to stay in the market for at least 8 to 10 years, go with an equity ETF. If you may need access to funds sooner, consider purchasing U.S. Treasuries, which is currently yielding at nearly 3%. Now, it's interesting. Investment vehicles give yields of 3, 5%, but you get a loan and you're paying it back at 16, 19, 22%. Where does someone find it really beneficial to be investing? You know, it is such a challenge to find that balance. And I don't know if anybody else has that problem, looking for that balance. But this is not what people expect when you think investing. Yeah? Next thing on the list is to look ahead to retirement. Now, we've been talking about retirement a couple of times in the past couple of months. We've addressed some things with retirement. Look forward to retirement. I've seen how student loan payments hamper clients' ability to save for the long term, says Catherine Valega, a certified financial planner and chartered alternative investment analyst with Green Bee Advisory in Winchester, Massachusetts. So I would use the cash flow to invest, whether putting more in a 401k or an IRA, Roth, or traditional, a long-term taxable saving. That's an option too. The earlier we can get money working with us or working for us, the better off we are in the long run. A 25-year-old investing $1,000 a year for 10 years and $2,000 a year for another 10 years and no longer contributing to a retirement account until the age of 65 would have $160,000 with a 6% rate of return, according to Her Money, a personal finance site. Well, how many 25-year-olds are in a position to actually put away $1,000 a year for 10 years. Now, it might not sound really doable, but if you're looking at $1,000 a year, you're talking about less than $100 a month to get you to $1,000 a year. So, can you do it? Put away $100 a month. Can you leave college and get a job and somewhere to live outside of your parents' home and save $100 a year over the course of, $100 a month? Here's the thing. Not many people can save $100 a month on their regular income. Currently, I don't know how many people you know can do that. I don't know a lot of people that can save $100 a month because they're busy paying bills and loans, like student loans. It sounds crazy, right? It's just $100. Okay. I want 5 of you guys to pick someone, anyone. You can even go to my site, kevinstew.com. There's a donate button on it. You can use it. And for the next 10 months, put $100 in there. 5 of you. Do it. Do it now. Now you start to think about things differently. Or find a charity and give them $100 every month for the next 10 months. Can you do it? Next on the list is to pay off that credit card debt. Things that you can do if you get this loan forgiveness. High interest debt will hold you back and it should be paid off before it gets worse. Fontana from FFB Capital Partners told MarketWatch, quote, I'd recommend prioritizing paying off any high-interest credit card that carries a balance month to month. Only paying the minimum every month can hold you back from saving for a house and also ultimately hurt your credit score. Funny, when you get your credit card statement, the thing that is very prominent and right up there is, hey, you only need to pay your minimum of this. And it looks really attractive because you look at your balance, that is $1,200, and they tell you that you only need to pay $40 minimum. And you think, oh my goodness, yes, yeah, let me pay this $40 because I have to be pinching and squeezing but this is the reality. And the other part of the reality is you do that minimum and in the long run you end up paying more. And it could hold you back from whatever it is that you want to go out and get. There's a reason to be concerned about credit card debt. Americans loaded an extra $46 million on their credit cards during the second quarter, and their balances saw the sharpest increase in more than 20 years, according to data released in August by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. Credit card debts grew 5.5% from the first to the second quarter and 13% year over year. Now, somebody is smiling. I'll give you that. But it's not one of us that hold the credit card. Unless you manage to pay it off and you're not dealing with this expense. Yeah, somebody else is smiling. You might want to take a chance on a new job or career. Having significant student loan debt means salary is a key consideration when job hunting because your paycheck has to cover those payments along with your other monthly essentials. What have we been talking about all night? We've been mentioning it, right? Those monthly essentials. With that debt out, then some people may now be able to take a chance and change their careers. Now maybe you can get that job that is not a job. You know what I mean? You can actually do what you love because it might pay a little bit less, but it's more rewarding. So now you can go and do that. And you end up less stressful and you end up spending less on your medical bills. We'll get into that another time. Now, if you had to focus on salary alone to ensure you could make payments on student loan debt, but no, you don't have to. That doesn't have to be that much of a concern. Maybe it's a chance to pursue a dream where there may not be as much focus on salary. Or starting out new in a different field where you'll have to work your way up. Because maybe you're in middle management now or approaching executive management and you're doing it in a job that you don't like. And it's stressful. And starting over may actually put you down a couple of steps. Well, it might be worth it. Because you have the experience, you can move up quickly. Yeah? But if you had this debt, you couldn't afford to do it. This loan forgiveness could also speed up the road to home ownership. Or it could have you starting an emergency fund. A recent survey by Rocket Mortgages said that nearly 70% of millennial student loan borrowers who intended to buy their first home roughly within the next decade said Biden's student loan forgiveness could shorten their purchase time by nearly 1 to 3 years. Isn't that awesome? The rate of home price growth is slowing, but they're coming off a peak that happened back in April. The S&P Core Logic Case Shiller 20 City House Price Index, their rise slowed to 18.6% year over year in June, down from 20.5% the previous month. But buyers, particularly young buyers, still face headwinds from rising interest rates and limited supply in many areas. Analysts say there's little evidence of the kind of slump that happened during the 2008 subprime mortgage crisis. Now, the other part with the emergency fund, there's a recommendation to start saving towards sufficient emergency savings to cover over 3 months of living costs. Again, at present, is there anyone that can survive if their funds stop flowing now? Can you survive for 1 month, let alone 3? So there's you want to think about an emergency fund. There are some things to not do, however. And I'll quickly tell you that before I take the next break. Do not use freed up funds for extra spending money. Yep. That blows it. And it defeats the purpose. It can be tempting for young borrowers who feel unencumbered by other debts and responsibilities. But if you have emergency savings, that holding cash is not the best route given record high inflation. It's a balance. So don't be tempted into the splurging. It's similar to when you get a raise at work. There's a danger that the extra money can lead to a lifestyle creep or living beyond your means. And typically, it's best to not increase your standard of living too much. Just add the increased funds to your long-term investment. That way, later on, now you can live a little bit better. You see how that works? Try living minimally now and save more versus spending more now and end up living minimally later on. Some things to consider, yeah? Now, it may not be the thing for everybody to consider, but it's something to consider. We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to talk some more. And let's address that question that we started off with. The one about possibly going back to school as a result of the student loan forgiveness. And you would think, why would someone go back to school because they got student loans forgiven? Well, they didn't finish. They had to drop out for whatever reason. Maybe they couldn't afford it. But it doesn't mean that the debt went away. They stopped going to school, but the debt is still there. So let's look at that scenario when we come back from the break, yeah? Call your friends, tell your friends, friends of your friends, friends of your enemies, enemies of your friends, and your enemies too. It's Community and Finance Night, and we're looking at the student loan forgiveness. Who benefits and how? Things to talk about, yeah? We'll be right back. Matthew 28:19 says, "Go ye therefore and teach all nations." With this in mind and encouragement received during a South Florida media conference, The Church Links was birthed. The Church Links is an interdenominational worship service portal for churches, providing the tools to spread the word through technology in a cost-effective way. The Church Links. www.dahchurchlinx.com. Your links to worship and praise.
Making great music is one thing, sharing it with the world, that's another. Let the professionals at Reggae Global Entertainment help you to another level. Specializing in artist management, booking, public relations and marketing, and promotion, Reggae Global Entertainment can help you with event planning, websites, photography, and video production, press releases, legal services, and graphic design. They can even help you with music production, so you can get the sound that you want every time. Call Reggae Global Entertainment at 954-804-8199. That's 804-8199. Or visit them online at reggaeglobalentertainment.com.
When being in the moment is priceless, consider the ability to share that moment. If you can video it, you can broadcast it. And Pulse E-Media Group has the tools you need. Weddings, birthdays, funerals, graduations, church services, parties, seminars, you name it. Pulse E-Media Group can provide you with a secure medium controlled by you to broadcast your event. Contact us at www.pulseemediagroup.com for more information. Pulse E-Media Group, when being in the moment is priceless.
Hey yo, this is Carman to let you know that right about now you are logged on to DJ Kevin Stew on the night shift. Don't move.
Alright. See, every day I hear them say our children have lost their way, but is it them? Or is it really us? Maybe we should listen more, talk less, and we would be sure who they become. Who they become. So you better love them, teach them, show them how to rock. Grow them, know them, don't stay aback. Be there, see there, need to be a part of life. Show them how to rock. Grow them, know them, don't stay aback. Don't just talk, but listen to the words they say. They say. More and more it seems to me, Generation X is a lot more free, but do they know what they need to know? They may be more techno smart, but do they really know the heart of what it is just to really live? You better love them, teach them, show them how to rock, grow them, know them, don't stay back. Be there, see there, need to be a part of life. Life is now. So you better love them, teach them, show them how to rock, grow them, know them, don't stay back. Don't just stop, but listen to the words they say. They say. More and more it seems to me these millennials are a lot more free, but do they know just what they need to know? They might be more techno smart, but do they really know the heart of what it is just to really live? So you better love them, teach them, show them how to rock, grow them, know them, don't stay back. Be there, see there, need to be a part of life. Life is now. So you better love them, teach them, show them how to rock, grow them, know them, don't stay back. Don't just stop, but listen to the words they say. They say. So you better love them, teach them.
Marty Dread working out with Sly and Robbie, bringing us back from the break.
Don't stay back.
Track is called Teach Them.
See there, need to be a part of life. Life is now. So you better love them, teach them, show them how to rock, grow them, know them, don't stay back. Don't just stop.
So as we're talking about loan forgiveness, student loan forgiveness, there's the issue of the ones that have debt but no degree. And asking the question, would this lure them back to school? A car dealership employee is hoping she can return to community college with a clean slate. An operations manager is wondering whether he might be able to afford to buy a home. And a community service representative is facing a bitter reality that she may never escape her decades-old debt. They are among the millions of people nationwide, many from low-income families who borrowed money for their college but did not receive a 4-year degree. If the debt forgiveness plan announced by the Biden administration comes into effect, some of their balances could be wiped away. That is like a dream come true. Now, while that relief could change the lives of some borrowers, it may do little to address the intractable problem of soaring college costs. In the United States, higher education has long been pushed as an important step on the road to financial security. But for tens of millions of people, that promise has proved elusive. Again, a promise is a comfort to who? I grew up learning that a promise is a comfort to a fool. Not to say or dissuade anybody from getting an education. No. What you will get when you get your education is the ability to apply some knowledge attained to a particular scenario to help put you in a better position. Is a 4-year degree the way to go about doing that? Well, you decide. I'm not here to answer that question for you. My job is to stimulate your appetite, not satisfy your hunger. So when I am done, if you have more questions, good. I have done my job. It's for you to seek those answers and then apply those answers as you see fit. So individuals may have left school for any number of overlapping reasons, including medical or family emergencies, but financial barriers are named as the most common obstacle. Even students who were prepared for the cost of tuition could be caught off guard by other expenses like fees, housing, and textbooks, not to mention the textbooks. Oh my goodness. Nobody goes to college thinking they're going to fail, said Carlo Salerno, an education economist. Some borrowers expressed relief over Mr. Biden's plan. Others noted skeptically the fuzzy details and the potential for legal challenges. And some have begun looking forward to the future through the lens of their hard-won experience, wondering, could loan forgiveness bring all the college dreams within reach? And is higher education even worth the cost? Is it worth it? Yes, absolutely. If you're going to use it, says Shantoya Smith, 39 years old, a Pell Grant recipient in Detroit with tens of thousands of dollars of debt and a plan to pursue a bachelor's degree. But if not, go to a trade school. It's cheaper. In a report this year, Dr. Salerno used data from the U.S. Department of Education to determine that about 15% of the federal loan debt currently in repayment was held by people with no degree at all. 15%. Now, that's not, it might sound like a little bit, but think about it. That's about 12 million people. And there were racial disparities out of that 12 million. Of those who started but did not finish, about 66% black borrowers who still had debt when they left, compared with 47% of white borrowers. So, you check it out. The forgiveness plan would wipe out $10,000 in student loan debt for those making less than $125,000 annually, and $20,000 for those who received Pell Grant for low-income families. It would cover most or all of many of the balances held by borrowers without degrees, who, on average, typically owe less than $15,000. So, could this be beneficial in an election year? Things to make you go, Now, that could make a real difference to those who fell into debt trying to achieve their version of the American dream, says Yolanda Watson-Spivak, the president of Complete College America, an advocacy organization. Hopefully, Dr. Watson-Spivak says, hopefully, it's the first step and not the final step, adding that loan forgiveness did little for those starting out amid persistent inequities and rising tuition costs. When Hannah Jacob, 23 years old, entered the State University of New York at Fredonia in 2017, she had financial aid and a state grant, but no monetary support from her family. She took out around $10,000 in federal loans. Miss Jacob made friends, loved her political science classes, and started playing rugby. But when she returned for spring, the spring semester of her freshman year, she discovered that she could not register because she had an outstanding tuition balance of $4,000. I had no clue, she said. And obviously, at 18, I didn't have $4,000 just laying around, and my parents definitely didn't. So, I had to leave. After trying community college, she began working at a car dealership full-time. She paid down some of her debt, but it still haunted her, tanking her credit score at the start of her adult life. So, typically, we end up behind the 8 ball, yeah? When Ms. Jacob heard about Mr. Biden's debt relief plan, which could eliminate her remaining debt of nearly $9,000, again, you remember how much she started with? 10. And she have a debt of 9. And she's been working. You do the math. The sense of responsibility she had once felt as a freshman, that returned. I can actually make the payments and enjoy going to school, she said, just because I have a great job now and I can actually afford it. She plans to return to community college and one day earn her first bachelor's degree in her family and become a history teacher. See, she doesn't even want to work at this car dealership, but she's at full time. So she's earning a salary, but that's not what she wants to do. Beth Akers, a senior fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, said that while Mr. Biden's forgiveness plan was poorly structured, she supported relief for borrowers without degrees. I really do think that on both sides of the aisle, this is a population that we are universally concerned about, she said. Through no fault of their own, many students absorb the message that higher education is essential. But for those who have dropped out and are now advancing into middle age, the calculus may have to change. I think it's great to celebrate education, Dr. Akers said, but there's no need to be realistic about whether or not there's also a need to be realistic about whether or not an individual would be on track to get an economic return. That part. Yes, go to college, get your degree. It puts you in a better position to get a better job. But is there that better position available? Is that job that is going to pay you as per that degree that you invested in? Is that job available? For Sharanda Pendo, 46 years old, the possibility of forgiveness brought a little bit of hope, but not much more than that. Miss Pendo, who grew up in Waterbury, Connecticut, and still lives there, started at Southern Connecticut State University in New Haven in 1993. Set on becoming a nurse, but 3 years later she became pregnant with her first child and had to leave the program before finishing her degree. She soon found herself back in Waterbury, married and working at a phone company. Not as a nurse. I had a place, I had a baby, so I had to work and to survive. Today, she carries more than $50,000 in student debt. A dark cloud, she says, heavy with decades of interest and penalties. She has made a career in customer service, but never enough money, that is, to repay her loans. And she has made a career in customer service. She's been working. This is from 1993. Ms. Penda's monthly payments would be easier if they were capped at 5% of her discretionary monthly income, as Mr. Biden has proposed. And because she received a Pell Grant, she may be eligible for $20,000 in loan forgiveness. But paying the remaining balance in full, that still seems like a far stretch. When you're rubbing two nickels together, it's like, where do you get the 5%? As long as the debt hangs over her, it is hard to imagine returning to school. Many people who leave college and end up feeling like failures because they actually didn't graduate. Bridget Strickler, the strategy officer for Graduate Network, which supports people returning to school, says forgiveness could have a lasting effect for them, even across generations. We know that when people have college degrees, their family members are more likely to pursue an education, she says. And the trajectories for their lives and their employment are changed forever. We know that when people have college degrees, their family members are more likely to pursue an education. Now, this sounds like the plan that was put in place to make sure that colleges succeed. Because again, nobody goes into business unless they plan to make a profit. Does education fall under that umbrella of getting into business? Miss Smith in Detroit has tried over and over to get an education that would put her on solid ground. She said she struggled in high school, served in the Navy, got her high school equivalency diploma, attended community college in Wayne County, part-time for a couple of years, tried a private college, dropped out, took some online classes at a for-profit school, and then enrolled at another community college in Macomb County. She studied business and received 2 associate degrees as well as a certificate in digital marketing, but not a bachelor's degree. And though she qualified for Pell Grants along the way, Miss Smith accumulated about $37,000 in student loans and interest. Working at a strip club kept Miss Smith afloat through financial hardships. Now she hopes to transfer her community college credits to Michigan State University. To her, the education matters more than the diploma. Ms. Smith said that the coding and business skills she was gaining would sustain her for the long term. Even if $20,000 of her loans were forgiven, that would be wonderful, Ms. Smith said. She would still have 5 digits of debt to pay down. But she does not plan to let that stand in the way of a 4-year degree. Schooling has been really beneficial to me, she said. I will never complain. Providing additional relief to Pell Grant recipients who compose the vast majority of those who default on student loans is well targeted. It is a well targeted approach that helps the borrowers most in need of support. This says Adam Looney, a senior fellow at Brookings Institution and a professor of finance at University of Utah. But he also said Mr. Biden's plan would be an inefficient way to improve college affordability. While the proposed repayment rules may lessen the burden of debt, they do not reduce the sticker price of a college education. Ryan Johnston, 29 years old, of Lake Charles, Louisiana. He was a stellar high school student before he entered McNeese State University in 2011 and hit a brick wall. Anxiety plagued him. He kept stopping his studies and then started them again. He had a Pell Grant, but his student debt kept climbing as his academic performance stalled. By 2016, he had racked up more than $17,000 in loans. I started weighing the options and then saw the debt and then everything else, he said. I just ended up throwing my hands up and saying, to hell with it all. I give up. Mr. Johnston turned his attention to work and was spending hundreds of dollars a month on student loan repayments until a few years ago. He defaulted. His credit score slumped, costing him a job, and has been seeking. And he started getting daily phone calls from debt collectors. Now, I've been a debt collector, and I know what it is to have a job, to call up someone to say, hey, there's this debt that you have. Let me help you to repay it. Only to hear a story that comes along with why they have this debt. And some could be making it up. For some, it's legit. Wasn't for me to decide. I had a job to do. Which is probably one of the reasons I don't have that job anymore. But I had a job to do. Well, it was really stressful, and it is a real reason why I don't have that job anymore. I left it based on that. And it was during the time of the pandemic when the burden was placed on us to collect that money from people that don't have jobs. People like Mr. Johnston that had this huge student loan debt and no job to pay it off. To be calling them about a credit card debt of $2,000. Crazy. The loan repayment moratorium of 2020 eased some of the pressure. And if Mr. Biden's forgiveness plan comes to fruition, Mr. Johnston remains skeptical about that. It could wipe away his debt entirely. But still skeptical. It gives me the feeling that I may actually be able to buy a home within a few years, he said. It makes me feel like my goals for repairing my credit are more attainable than they were 2 or even 3 weeks ago. It makes the future seem a whole lot brighter. Even college, he said, could one day be back on the table. Could. But look at the situation that all these people have ended up in with the goal of attaining this 4-year degree. So here is, again, the big picture. Invest in your future. Get yourself a bachelor's degree. Okay? Then what? Oh, no. We don't answer the then whats. You deal with the then what. We just tell you, go ahead and get this degree. As a matter of fact, here's a college over here that is paying me to advertise them. Go ahead and get it from them. You know, again, when you live in a capitalist society, what do you expect short of those that provide services expect to get a profit? As we get into musical therapy, kicking things off with Christina Lisa, it's called Hold Strong.
Times of uncertainty, everyone seems to lose their key. What was once the norm, them have a plan, yet still no one can find them peace. What will be will always be. Settle down and be at peace. This year now is for the righteous ones, 'cause nothing new is under the sun. Jah see to be clear. This is no time to pay. The righteous ones will be named. The gates of Zion, no, and be covered. Mama, don't you cry. Big man, dry your eye. Hold strong. Hold strong. Nothing's wrong can make you feel like nothing purpose for you and for me. But disease in the heart is the first to kill any tree. Don't be fooled by the hype and the greed. Be patient and time will reveal what is true will soon be seen, and then we'll set you free. Silence no work no more. Where are the leaders that guided us before? Yo, this is Christina. Listen, I want to big up DJ Kevin Stew. Yo, always playing the best. So make sure you tune in. Make sure you always stay current with DJ Kevin Stew. Enough love. Freedom fighters. Where are the freedom fighters? We will fear no evil plan. No evil plan.
Thank you, Christine.
Of uncertainty, everyone seems to lose their key.
As we take this one from the top,
Once the norm, them have a plan, yet still no one can find.
bouncing through musical therapy.
What will be will always be. Settle down and be at peace. This year now is for the righteous ones, 'cause nothing new is under the sun. Jah see to be clear. This is no time to pay. The righteous ones will be named.
like nothing purpose for you and for me. But disease in the heart is the first to kill any dream. Don't be fooled by the hype and the greed. Be patient and time will reveal what is true will soon be seen, and then we'll set you free. Jaja City be clear. This is no time to fail. The righteous ones will be there. The gates of Zion now and be covered. 'Cause mama, don't you cry. Big man, dry your eye. Hold strong. Hold strong. Mama, don't you cry. Big man, dry your eyes. Hold strong. Hold strong. Jaja City be This is no time to fail. The righteous ones will be near. The gates of Zion now and be covered. Step on them.
This is Empress Unique working out with Culture Kali. It's called The World Needs Changes.
Today we're here, and tomorrow we're gone. Real on time. Gone to a place called No Man's Land. As you say, I'm again. Right here on earth, you can't even hold your brother's hand. Yeah. Or able to take a stand for what's right on this land. You got one foot in and the next one out. You know what I'm talking about. One foot in and the next one out. And there is no doubt. One foot in and the next one out. You know what I'm talking about. One foot in, the next one out. Why can't we live as one? Why can't we unite and come as one? Make a change, my sisters and brothers. The struggle is real. These situations sure wasn't part of the deal. You got one foot in and the next one out. You know what I'm talking about. One foot in and the next one out. And there is no doubt. You got one foot in and the next one out. You know what I'm talking about. One foot in, the next one out.
And if your mama died, you have to cry. And if your daddy died, you have to cry. And if your sister died, you have to cry. And if your brother died, you have to cry. It's gonna get rougher now, tougher now. Anywhere they food, then we have a buffer now. People they must suffer now. Life is down the gutter now. Things gotta change some way somehow. Real struggle.
Today we're here, and tomorrow we're gone. Gone to a place called No Man's Land. Right here on earth, we can't even hold our brother's hand. Or able to take a stand for what's right on this land.
ከማረሩ በለፈለፉ ባፊጠፉ መኖር ረድኤቱ
This is on the Lily
ሁሉ ደህና ማለት ደጉ
track called Balu Dan Shaho. Translated, all is well.
የልቡን ካልኖረ ምን ሊረባ በምኞት ጭራ ካልተቀጣ ራስን ጥሎ መሻገር ነው ኋላ ይሞላ ያለው ማን ነው ባሉ ባሉ ዳንቻሆ ባሉ ባሉ ዳንቻሆ ባሉ ባሉ ዳንቻሆ ባሉ ባሉ ዳንቻሆ ያው ላፍ ለወጉ ሁሉ መልካም ማለት ደጉ ሌት ቀን ካማረሩ በለፈለፉ ባፊጠፉ መኖር ረድኤቱ የርስት ጥጉ ዛንዘረ ነገሩ ሁሉ መልካም ማለት ጥሩ ባሉ ባሉ ዳንቻሆ ባሉ ባሉ ዳንቻሆ ባሉ ባሉ ዳንቻሆ ባሉ ባሉ ዳንቻሆ የሮጡ አይደለም ስለታገሉለት በቤዛ ያለውን የናቀ የጸጋ ልኬቱን የረሳ ቢከፋም ቢለማም ማለት ይበጃል ሁሉ መልካም አያንስም አይበዛም ከልኩ አያልፍም ባሉ ባሉ ዳንቻሆ ባሉ ባሉ ዳንቻሆ ባሉ ባሉ ዳንቻሆ ባሉ balu danschaho.
Die Liebe hört nie auf, sie bleibt stets verbunden vom Anbeginn der Zeit. Nur die Liebe hört nie auf.
This one is called Nerd Liebe hört nie auf.
Liebe hört nie auf. Das Einzige, was zählt.
Yeah, it's translated from German.
Nur die Liebe hört nie auf.
Only love never ends.
Egal was Menschen tun, arbeiten ohne auszuruhen. Geld, Macht und Ruhm, all das ist vergänglich, ein großer
Of course, I don't need to translate for those that sprechen Sie Deutsch.
und Betrügen. Für manche ist das wie ein Vergnügen. Und was erscheint so groß und wichtig, ist doch am Ende null und nichtig. Nur die Liebe hört nie auf, sie bleibt stets verbunden vom Anbeginn der Zeit. Nur die Liebe hört nie auf, trägt uns durch schwere Stunden und mildert so unser Leid. Nur die Liebe hört nie auf, stärker als das Schwert, weil sie sich durch Teilung vermehrt. Nur die Liebe hört nie auf. In dieser Welt voll Materialismus, geprägt von Leid und Narzissmus, der Mensch nicht mehr weiß, wo er hin muss, senden wir einen Liebesgruß. Es gibt kein Mich ohne dich. Und was ist schöner als ich liebe dich zu sagen? Ich bitte dich nicht zu verzagen. Nein, nein, nur die Liebe hört nie auf. Sie bleibt stets verbunden vom Anbeginn der Zeit. Nur die Liebe hört nie auf, trägt uns durch schwere Stunden und bildet unser Leid. Nur die Liebe hört nie auf. Das Einzige, was
the son of Kathy Matete.
Feels that. Close your eyes, enjoy the dream shack.
The track is called Teacup.
Think about no worries at all. Live your troubles far away. It's gonna be a brighter day. It's all I wear around here. Oh yeah, just pull up a chair. So never fail on here. It's only niceness, and the vibe is righteous. Oh yes, oh yes. Kick off your shoes and put your feet up. Sip the color in your teacup. I ain't got no troubles, and you ain't got no troubles. I ain't thinking of nothing at all. My head is like ayo, 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 ayo. Free, free, free. I'm like ayo, 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 ayo. Free, free, free. Look at the sunrise. Everything feels so nice. And the wind is blowing, I'm taking all my troubles away. The sun rays are beaming so bright. This reggae music is hitting me right. Sipping on my teacup in my little paradise. Oh yeah, just pull up a chair. So never fail on here. It's only niceness, and the vibe is righteous. Oh yes, oh yes. Kick off your shoes and put your feet up. Sip the color in your teacup. I ain't got no troubles, and you ain't got no troubles. I ain't thinking of nothing at all. My head is like ayo, 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 ayo. Free, free, free. I'm like ayo, ayo, ayo,
times that we live in, thanks and praises be given. Count your blessings one by one.
This is Willis.
When the mornings come,
it's called Rising Sun.
Rising sun. Don't hurt your head, natty dread. Work hard at it every day and Jah provide the bread. Share more love, His blessings rain from above. Your mind uplift, wind up a split, bring your mind at ease. In trust and you will see tranquility. You're as free as the breeze. Things tough and the rent and the bills due. No job, got a family to tend to. Once in the struggle, they know it's all the same. Living fake freedom, their shackles we chain. We're in a lockdown, no sense we complain. Couldn't see it coming, but we still give thanks and praise. Still don't fall to Babylon. Lift up your heads to your rising sun. Cause no matter how the road gets tough, you keep your mind uplift, wind up a split, bring your mind at ease. In trust and you will see tranquility. You're as free as the breeze. Rise up, oh rise up to your rising sun. Just keep that smile upon your face. And the sky is yours to take. Hold your heads up high. Lift your heads up, lift your heads up to your rising sun today.
Sometimes I'm weary, lots of things I know I needed, but my self-esteem they low on the ground.
This is Trisha.
I cannot focus, I'm losing concentration.
It's called Keep Rising.
I'm all alone. Put my feet on solid ground, me still away the ground. Life nobody feel me now. Because the time frame you narrow, some people hollow. Be careful of the ones where you they follow. So I try to walk this path of life the way I can. Pull myself towards my own destiny. I'll keep on trying and trying. just fail. Cause the greatest gift of all is my ability to rise again. I'll keep on rising and rising, never gonna let me down. When I wake up in the morning, my heart's still a beat. I have to put a smile on my face, and I have to give thanks to the Creator for another day to shine my light. So I open up my mind, I put myself in line towards my goal. I shall not lose my sight. So I pull towards my destiny. Yeah. So I, never gonna get me down. So never gonna get me down. No. Keep on trying and trying, even when I get derailed. I'll keep on trying and trying, even if I might just fail. Cause the greatest gift of all is my ability to rise again. I'll keep on rising and rising, never gonna let me down. Come lie down and smile now. Let go your fear and I will show you how.
This is Berlicia.
Down the program.
It's called Blue Fields of Love.
I'm a little breeze through the leaves of the trees. Yes, they rustle like it's nothing at all. Many times like these, we just need a little peace in a circle like we're having a ball. If we just lie here and let our minds clear, ain't got no worries at all. Caught up in the niceness, time spent with you was priceless. Oh yeah. Fields of love, for every problem there's an answer from above. Time will never be enough, so don't worry about it, vibrations automatic. Blue fields of love, it's a place where you want to be gentle with yourself and feel the love. Even if your light dims a little, just shine it in my window. Fighting with the tears, you can hide them in my pillow. I promise I won't be there when your mind can't seem to settle. Let the past go and please understand that baby, times like these, we just need a little peace. I'm my happiest with you and you're the happiest with me. Your love is like gold and I'm rich beyond belief. There's no telling what we can achieve if we just lie here and let our minds clear. Ain't got no worries at all. Caught up in the niceness, time spent with you was priceless. Oh yeah. Blue fields of love, for every problem there's an answer from above. Time will never be enough, so don't worry about it, vibrations automatic. Blue fields of love, it's a place where you want to be gentle with yourself and feel the love.
Hello, good morning. There's a lovely day ahead. Lovely day ahead.
This is G. Cole.
I better wipe to the way. I'm smiling instead.
Taken to the skies like a bird.
So my mama, she's gone and it's bringing me down. But whenever I'm sad, I remember her smile. It turns me around and it comes and it's gone again. So I leave it to y'all. There's nothing that I can do, and it makes me feel strong again, like I'm starting afresh. Everything's brand new, and I'm so in love with the life that I go to my bed real early, just so the night goes by real fast and the morning comes. The sunlight really makes me come alive. I feel so free. I spread my wings and fly just like a bird. Hello, good evening. I can see that you're walking alone. Walking alone. Can tell that you're tired. You've had a long day. Can I walk with you home? Ooh yeah. The pressures are mounting. You're afraid and weak. Jaja knows and you see. The feeling comes and it's gone again. So just leave it to Jah. There's nothing that you can do. It'll make you feel strong again. Like you're starting afresh. Everything's brand new. And I am so in love with life that I go to my bed real early just so the night goes by real fast and the morning comes. The sunlight really makes me come alive. I feel so free. I spread my wings and fly just like a bird.
Life is a journey. The longer you live, the more you learn it. Woo, yeah.
His name is Kirk Davis. Goes by the name Little Kirk.
I've been through the struggle every day. Still stand firm on my journey.
It's called That's the Way Life Goes.
My way, yes. Say by your works you get your pay. Me no care when I eat then I know backbiters want to say take it. Still a judge I lead the way. Him guide my footstep. Oh yes, and never be night and never be day. Yeah. And even though things set away, me not go sell up me soul for vanity. Cause in the end I need no pay. Yeah. Oh, I'm truly giving thanks for everything. Gotta take the good with the bad and turn them into positive. The Father provides us with everything, yeah. But we, His people, corrupt the whole entire system. 'Cause that is the way life goes, ups and down, round and round it goes. Now that is the way life flows. It flows, yeah. Now that is the way life goes, ups and down, round and round it goes. Now that is the way life flows. So never you let the system let you be a victim. Never you go and compel and get red eye for the quick thing. Never you get addicted, sell out your soul and you're listening. You time, you mind, you get a beating. There is no better way. Things set away. All of the people who mind we stay alive, they'll be a better way. Hold up to the most high, don't let him go down die. Never you lose a way, there is no better way. Way life goes, ups and down, round and round it goes. Now that is the way life goes. Ooh, life, that is the way life goes. Ups and down, round and round it goes. Now that is the way
This is on of Ambelique. Halfway in, halfway out.
Say you've been hurt many times in the past. Had to walk around, baby, with a broken heart. Still you wanna get close, don't wanna give too much. But there can be no commitment, girl, if there ain't no trust. 'Cause if you're halfway in, then you're halfway out. Gotta be fully committed, babe, to living it down, yeah. 'Cause if you're halfway in, then you're halfway out. And that ain't good enough for what we need to work. Gotta let go of the pain, 'cause playing the victim is a losing game. If you don't let it go, it'll be such a shame. You've gotta be in it to win it. Till life will sometimes get burned. It doesn't matter how you spin it. It's a lesson to learn. That if you're halfway in, you're halfway out.
I'm about heading all the way out right about now. No halfway thing. As we wrap up this community and finance night right here on the night shift to DJ Kevin Steele. the sound of Ambelique in the background. Halfway in, halfway out. I want to say thank you to my affiliates for taking this broadcast. One Harmony Radio, NIE Radio, Island Worldwide, Reggae Pulse Radio, the Foundation Radio Network, ClintonLindsay.com, WGLRO, Hollywood Radio, Dusic Media Group.
You gotta be fully committed.
The Stew Pot on Zeno FM, not Zip, Zeno FM. Thank you all, truly appreciate love you. As we part company, just reminding you, look out for members of your community. Remember, your community is not just a development that you live in, but it spreads far and wide. So those that you pass on the bus, the plane, the boat, or the train, whether you walk, ride, or drive, these are members of your community. Look out for one of them today. You never know who's going to look out for you tomorrow. Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you wherever you are in the world from right here in South Florida. I bid you all a good night. Be good. If you can't be good at it. Catch you tomorrow. We'll do it all over again, 10 p.m. Eastern. Take care until.
And that ain't good enough for what we need to work.
Greetings and salutations, one and all. You're invited to tune in to the Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew. It airs on Mondays with Community and Finance, Tuesdays with Healthy Love, and Wednesdays with Real Talk from 10 p.m. to midnight Eastern Time. Come spend some time interacting in the Stew Pot where we keep things bubbling and wind down in musical therapy. The Night Shift with DJ Kevin Stew is on kevinstew.com, where you're encouraged to have acceptance through enlightenment.